Hi, my name is Gibson, and I'm the owner and founder of the Personal Development School. This is your daily breakthrough video, and this is a channel where we share personal development tools and tricks for your subconscious mind. So today I want to talk a little bit about how we tend to personalize things so much and how we can stop taking things so personally by looking for what I like to call the sponsoring intention behind a person's actions. So first and foremost, we tend to take things so personally. We tend to take, somebody looking at us on the street in a negative way as some sort of personal attack. We tend to take, a coworker being short with us or our partner expressing anger as some sort of really personal attack. And we're taking these things at face value, which is causing us a tremendous amount of unnecessary suffering a lot of time. So what I like to teach people to do is to try to look for things beyond face value. Try to look for the why or the sponsoring intention behind what's creating the action from a standpoint that is not about yourself. So sometimes things are about you. This will happen. Sometimes somebody actually wants to create pain or enact revenge or something from a really personal perspective, but this is really quite a rare thing. And more often than not, because our brain has been conditioned through how we are socialized as children to make interpretations about things that mean something about ourselves. This is actually a survival sort of strategy we developed in childhood. We tend to have an assumption-making mind. Our brain has been conditioned to a certain degree to make assumptions. So just to share a personal example of this for a moment, or not a personal example, a specific example. Let's say you're a child and you come home and mom's in a bad mood. More often than not, you're like, oh, I did something wrong, or something's wrong with me, or I must have done something bad and I should stay away. And so we remember the past and we reproject the potential recurrence of that past onto our present circumstances as a strategy to avoid pain, as a strategy to avoid punishment, or mom when she's in a bad mood, or these different things that we can't control as children. And so just to be really clear there, that's part of what creates this assumption-making mind. We learn to make interpretations about things in order to protect ourselves. So fast forward all the way into our adult lives, we tend to make all of these sort of irrational assumptions at times that really can create a lot of pain. So let's use a really specific example here. Let's say that someone is short to us. So let's say a coworker. One of the first things we tend to do is we project meaning onto that, like, oh, this person's saying, X, Y, and Z to me, and it's so unfair. Or, we'll take it really personally. And what we're actually doing is taking external information and we're sort of pulling it through a filter, and we're actually making it a bit of a personal assault on ourselves. And so we want to be able to question those things. Was that moment really about me? And the best thing we can do here is insert this tool of looking for the sponsoring intention. So you want to ask yourself, why else could they have acted that way as opposed to it being just about me? And we really want to value understanding over conflict here. In my years of experience in working with people, I see very consistently that the only thing that really tends to substitute for conflict is understanding. When we understand something, when we can really bring things into the forefront, like we can really understand all the details of everything, it's actually really difficult to maintain a state of conflict with another human being. But it's because we don't clearly understand and we make assumptions about different things based on our own past experiences that we can really ignite conflict between two people. We want to try to understand. And we can go so far as to actually ask the person why. Hey, why did you, let's say it was your coworker, why were you so short with me this morning? What was going on? And so, number one, just to be really clear here, we want to ask why to ourselves. So why could this experience that was hurtful to me be something that doesn't have anything to do with me? How could this be about them? What do I know about what they were experiencing? So you want to find clarification by digging into it a little bit. Maybe they're having a really hard time at work. Maybe they're not liking their job. Then you can also feel free to express your lack of understanding to the person. Hey, I don't understand why you're acting this way. Or, can I ask you why you were short this morning? Or, whatever the situation might be. And lastly, we really can take a lot out of this from a growth perspective by looking for what lesson this is bringing to us. Okay, if you feel like you're suffering over something that are another person's actions, there's something really tremendous in there for you to learn. So this might be that, we have to speak up more. We have to start telling people how they make us feel. Maybe we're in a situation repetitively. And the lesson here, and why it keeps recurring, is that we're not showing up for ourselves in a way that we should be. And so we keep sort of falling into traps where these circumstances repeat themselves in our lives. That's one way. Another thing might be we need to assert ourselves. Hey, the way you're treating me is inappropriate, and I'm not going to hold space for that any longer. It's a non-negotiable no, or I need you to start treating me differently. It's very important. And so we can start there will always be some kind of gem in there for you if you're willing to look. Okay, so the whole idea of depersonalizing things is to recognize that you have an assumption making mind that tends to project more painful things onto situations than what they actually are. And while this will not always be the case, it often will be. And so we want to clarify, we want to value understanding over conflict. How do we do this? We look for the sponsoring intention behind people's actions. We ask for further clarification if necessary, and we really hone in on looking for the lesson or what this is showing us about ourselves if we are in a circumstance that we do not like. So I hope this is of value, and please take some time to practice this tool. It's very simple and very straight and to the point, but there's tremendous value that comes out of this because we spend a lot of unnecessary thought and emotional energy sort of trapped in this unconscious pattern of personalizing things that really don't have a whole lot to do with us. And this even goes for things like, oftentimes when your partner is angry, they express anger, and it's so easy to take that as an attack or an assault and want to defend. But oftentimes there's a lot of hurt in the sponsoring intention, behind that person's anger. Oftentimes it's hurt, and they're so hurt that they're just trying to relieve themselves of that hurt, and it comes out as anger. So again, it's not that we're condoning the person's actions. It's that we are trying to more deeply understand so that we can show up as the most effective version of ourselves. So if you received a lot of value out of this video, please like it, share it, subscribe to our channel, and please check out www.personaldevelopmentschool.com for more free breakthrough tools, videos, a blog, all kinds of interesting stuff. Thank you so much for watching.